Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for today's video because we're going to be doing a first impression review of the new fragrance from KILIAN, Angel Share Paradis. I have my bag here and we are just going off of a sample. I do not have a bottle yet. This is not officially released, but I was able to get a sample in store. So we're gonna smell it. Technically, this is not my true first impression. I did smell this one time before, but it is very exciting. And this release is so incredibly anticipated. They've been teasing this for months now. And Angel Share is so iconic, even though it was only released now 5 years ago in 2020. This is an icon for a lot of people for the winter time. And now they're launching their new and very first flanker, which is very interesting in itself because we've never seen, from my knowledge, a flanker in the Liqueurs collection. And Angel Share is really known to be this sexy, boozy, woody, but very syrupy, sweet fragrance that is truly a heartthrob in the fragrance world. I love it myself. It's just perfect for like the super cold days. It kind of gives me like apple pie vibes, boozy apple pie. So we're gonna see how the new Paradis compares. Like I said, I just have a little sample here, like a little teensy tiny baby sample that I am going to baby like my life depends on it. But what they've been teasing the most about this new flanker is that it's going to have raspberry, like a big heavy dose of raspberry. And of course, we don't really know anything else about the rest of the notes, but it's supposed to also be like really carry on the legacy of Angel Share, to be boozy, woody with this like oak barrel accord with cognac, and it's described as a fruity amber fragrance. But let's go ahead and spray it. Let's see what it's all about. So as soon as it opens, they're not lying, you get a lot of raspberry. And what's different about this compared to a lot of other like raspberry-esque fragrances that I smell is that this kind of comes off a little bit like a strawberry jam. It definitely has this kind of like preserve texture, you know? It's not as like juicy, bright, kind of airy, like what you typically think of when you smell raspberry fragrances. It immediately has a density to it. And there is something Angel Share-esque about it, but there's also something very different about it. And when I smelled this for the first time, I did spray it on my skin. And what I immediately thought about this is that it kind of reminds me of other DNAs in the KILIAN lineup. Like with the oak barrel accord in this, my mind goes straight to old fashioned. There's definitely some sort of relation there, but it's not quite as like it doesn't have that hay note that is so polarizing about old fashioned, that like dry kind of earthy hay. And the sweetness really balances that out, but you definitely feel that like oak barrel infusion that you get in old fashioned, but also, especially in the dry down of this, there's something about it that reminds me of Smoking Hot. Almost something kind of hookah-like in this. Minimally, but it's there, something smoky. But yeah, in the far dry down of the new Paradis, it reminded me of Smoking Hot. Not exactly the same, but similar. But the new Paradis definitely doesn't feel quite as dense and syrupy sweet as the original. It's still very sweet, but there's something kind of hookah-ish about it that's making it kind of airy. It's going to be very interesting for me to test this out, and I am going to be doing a side-by-side comparison of both, but I can very safely say there is a big dose of raspberry here. Jammy, like literally jammy raspberry. I'm not entirely sure what the price point on this is going to be, but this is supposed to be an extrait de parfum. And from what I've seen some people discussing online about the price point, it's going to be close to $400 for a 50 ml. And the thing is that it's interesting because now that I'm smelling this again, it seems as though the raspberry is kind of sticking around longer. What I noticed on my skin, maybe we should spray it on the skin again as well, the first time that I tested it, is that the raspberry didn't really stick around that long. And as it dried, it kind of turned back into the original Angel Share, into the mid, and then into the dry down, it started giving me smoking hot vibes. But I could also say this thing has staying power in the air because I'm literally tasting it right now. Like I just ate Angel Share Paradis. It does not taste like a boozy raspberry pie. So on the skin, there's something about KILIAN fragrances, like they need to be sprayed and tested on the skin because this just blooms on the skin, on the warmth of your skin. I'm immediately getting more booziness, I'm getting more of that woodiness, and I'm feeling more relation to the original Angel Share on the skin. It doesn't, like it's denser, it doesn't have that same kind of airy quality that you get on the strip. It feels richer and deeper on the skin and less raspberry on the skin. So maybe my initial thoughts were right. The raspberry is kind of fleeting. It also feels less sweet than Angel Share. I think that's something that a lot of people were really interested to see. I heard some rumors of people thinking that this new flanker was going to be like maybe a more masculine version, a less sweet version, and I could definitely say that even though there is a lot of sweetness here still, it's more emphasis on the fruity sweetness than necessarily that like dense, syrupy, tonka bean sweetness that you got in the original. It's more woody than the original, I would say as well. A little less boozy, more woody. I get a lot of that like oak barrel infusion on the skin, which is why it makes me think of Old Fashioned. So because of that, I mean, Angel Share is completely unisex, but I think that some men might think it's a little sweet. This one, even though it has raspberry, it might be an even more unisex version because it is less sweet. And just that fact in itself, I think more people are going to resonate with this because I think the main reason that people didn't like Angel Share is how stickingly sweet it is. Like so sweet to the point that most people are only going to wear it for the holidays. Like in the winter time, definitely me for sure. I mean, I wear Angel Share every once in a while, but I don't wear it that much here in Miami. I save it for when I'm going to be out of town, somewhere cold. But yes, first impressions, it's really nice. I'm not sure that it's going to be full bottle worthy for me or not, just considering the price point and how it reminds me of other fragrances from KILIAN that I already have in my collection, Old Fashioned, Smoking Hot, and Angel Share. It's just like this combination of all three, but it is nice. And the person that this is going to be for is if Angel Share, like you love the idea of Angel Share, but it's too sweet for you, or it's just, I don't know, it's hard to justify that price point. It is an extrait de parfum, so the oil concentration is going to be higher, but Angel Share is already like a super beast. And also with my first testing, this might be a little less strong. I think the longevity is here because the first time I tested it on my skin, it lasted like all night long until the next morning, but it wasn't quite as strong. Like I feel like Angel Share is cloying, it's flying off of you, it's a huge scent trail. This might be a little closer to the skin, which is not a bad thing. It's definitely not going to be a soft performing scent, but just a fun fact, sometimes just because the oil concentration is bumped up does not mean that it's going to perform better, stronger, louder. It just all depends on the ingredients that are inside and the materials used in the scent. Even now it's been on my skin for a few minutes and that raspberry is starting to lighten up. I think that the raspberry essence really sticks around, but that like jammy, pulpy, like thick raspberry in the opening that I really like, that definitely does kind of lift up and float away. Sadly, it doesn't really stick around like I was hoping that it would, but the scent is really nice. I can't say it's a bad scent because I love Angel Share, you know? It's pretty similar. I think that it's going to be a very hyped release. I think that a lot of people are going to be talking about this and are going to be very excited for this. I mean, I definitely was, and I still am. It is just a flanker release, so I mean, we can't really expect like a huge rebrand or anything like that. But I think it's definitely very interesting, something to look out for, and I'm gonna continue to do some testing on it, and then I will do a side-by-side comparison of both and post that for you. But yeah, guys, that was just a first impression, super quick first impression review of the new Angel Share Paradis from KILIAN. Please leave a comment down below if you are excited to try this release. Do you love Angel Share? Do you hate it? Are you excited for a more woody, less sweet version? I would love to know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.